Hi, I'm Don.
I'm Kathleen. Welcome to Our Cruise Life. We're on an Amtrak train on our way to Miami.
And there we will board Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas for a transatlantic cruise to Spain. Are you ready for this?
I am.
All right, let's go. In March of 2023, Kathleen and I took our first transatlantic cruise from Miami to Barcelona aboard Royal Caribbean's Symphony of the Seas. This video will help answer two questions that you may have. First, should I cruise aboard Symphony of the Seas? And second, should I take a transatlantic cruise? We will answer these two questions in two parts. In part one, we will tour Symphony of the Seas, and in part two, we'll look at the pros and cons of a transatlantic cruise. Alrighty, here we go. Symphony of the Seas was born in 2018 with a birth weight of 228,081 gross registered tons. She is number 4 of 5 Oasis-class ships, which are currently the largest cruise ships in the world. The Icon of the Seas will take that honor when she debuts this fall, but not yet. The Symphony has a top speed of 23 knots, and by way of comparison, an aircraft carrier can reach speeds of 30 knots or more. The Symphony is nearly 1,200 feet long, 217 feet wide, and 17 decks tall. She can accommodate more than 6,000 passengers, plus nearly 2,400 crew members. This is a small city. And one final stat that I think is very important, Symphony has a space ratio of 36.1. Simply stated, that number means the Symphony has a little more elbow room than most other popular cruise ships. Enough stats, right? Let's get on with the tour. Our tour begins at the top and forward with the solarium. This adults-only area is unlike anything else at sea. Glass enclosed with 180-degree views of the surrounding ocean. There are 2 large hot tubs, a unique little swimming pool, and plenty of sun-drenched loungers. There are also 2 observation decks extending above the bow and slightly over the edges of the ship. This is undoubtedly the best place to be for port arrivals and whale watching. Of course, there is a bar in the solarium, but even better, the Solarium Bistro is directly accessible for a quick bite to eat or a cup of coffee without leaving the solarium area. Moving aft from the solarium on deck 15, we'll pass the 2 largest hot tubs on the ship. These whirlpools offer stunning views over the sides of the ship. Unfortunately for us empty nesters, children are allowed to use those hot tubs. Then out into the sunshine and past the perfect storm water slides. The slides splash down near the first 2 of 4 swimming areas. The main pool is found on the port side, and the beach pool is found on the starboard side. Continue aft on deck 15 past the pool bars to arrive at the sports pool on the port side and the splashaway bay on the starboard side. This is the children's water park. It's safe and fun for the little ones. Remember, this is a very large ship, so we continue to move aft through the area called the living room on the port side and the video arcade on the starboard side. Don't stop yet. El Loco Fresh is next. This is a fun outdoor dining venue offering Mexican fast food. Then, when you think you've seen it all, you arrive at the mini golf course on the port side and the sports court on the starboard side. By the way, pickleball is growing in popularity on this and most ships. Then, if you want an exciting way to cross over the boardwalk way below, climb to deck 16 and ride the zip line. Yes, this ship is big enough to have a zip line. Finally, all the way aft on deck 16 are 3 more exciting attractions. Not one, but 2 flow rider surfing simulators. And even if you've never surfed, you can give this a try because the crew will show you how. Then between the flow riders is the largest dry slide at sea, the 7-story Ultimate Abyss. Did we do it, you ask? Well, it worked out that every time we were there, we had just eaten, so we couldn't do it. Maybe next time. I do want to try it, but then again, I really like to eat. Speaking of eating, since we are on deck 16, let's casually peruse Windjammer Marketplace. Like the rest of the ship, this buffet is very large. Even so, at peak times, the buffet can be crowded, so plan accordingly. If you have a hankering for seafood, transit all the way forward to Hooked Seafood Restaurant. This is one of the specialty dining venues, and it does have an upcharge. But if you like seafood, this is the place. View is great too. It overlooks the solarium and the Solarium Bistro. And that covers the upper deck recreation areas. Let's drop to deck 14 forward, where Adventure Ocean is located. This is a large area for the youth programs and the nursery, but there's more. The breakout room is here as well. At the time of our sailing, there was an upcharge to experience this submarine-themed game. You would think that on a 12-night cruise we would have found time to do this, but we didn't. Maybe next time. There is one more space worth noting on deck 14, and that is the card room. Surprising, but this place was always busy. There are also computers and a printer in there. However, you must have one of the Wi-Fi packages to access the internet on those computers. There is no deck 13, so we drop to deck 12, where we find a unique restaurant called Wonderland. As you might expect, it has an Alice in Wonderland theme, and everything is a little different in there. We were amazed at the food as well as the experience. Everyone should do this at least once. And yes, there is an upcharge, and yes, your kids will love it. Next, we come to our favorite area on the ship called Central Park. As the name suggests, this park-like area features thousands of plants, trees, and flowers, along with several restaurants and high-end shops. Park Cafe, one of the dining venues included in your fare, is a good alternative to the buffet. It offers salad, soup, sandwiches, and desserts, as well as coffee and other beverages. There are also several specialty restaurants in Central Park, including Chop's Grill, that's the steakhouse. 150 Central Park offers an upscale European menu. The ever-popular Jamie's Italian serves, you guessed it, Italian food. And finally, there is Vintages, an upscale wine bar. Of course, there's a bar. Actually, there are 2 bars, sort of. Trellis Bar is next to the Park Cafe. Rising Tide Bar is on a slow-moving platform that travels up and down between Central Park and the Royal Promenade on Deck 5. One more venue before we leave Deck 8. Dazzles, just aft of Central Park, is a multi-purpose space used primarily as a nightclub in the evenings. Hi, we're going to interrupt our video here for just a moment to ask a big favor.
Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you.
All right, back to the video. Deck 7 is mostly cabins, with the exception of the rock climbing walls at the rear of the ship. So let's keep descending. Deck 6 is another very busy place. At the front of the ship is Vitality at Sea Fitness Center, along with the Vitality Cafe, where you can find all things healthy to eat and drink. I didn't take out there much, but it looked good. Continuing aft on deck 6 to find Schooner Bar on the port side along with the loyalty desk. On the starboard side, deck 6, our shore excursions and the photo shop. Now, on to the really good stuff. Deck 6 aft is home to Boardwalk with its signature full-size carousel. The carousel is free, so of course we rode it. And spinning around on the carousel will also reveal the Boardwalk Doghouse. There's no dogs there except hot dogs, and that's a great place to choose from a variety of them. And right next door is Sugar Beach, the ship's candy store, and a small retail shop featuring beachy kind of things. Keep walking aft to eat at Johnny Rockets. Yes, it's the same as the land-based Johnny Rockets restaurants. Hamburgers and milkshakes are their thing, and the waiters do dance occasionally. It does have an upcharge, but it's not very much. Then on the other side of the boardwalk, you will find Playmakers Sports Bar and Arcade. This is a fun place to watch a game or grab boardwalk-style food and drinks with your friends. Here are our friends, Joe and Regina, enjoying a stick full of onion rings and wings. Delicious. Then at the rear of the ship is something no other class ship has, the Aqua Theater. The aqua shows performed here are absolutely jaw-dropping. The performers are truly world-class athletes, the kind you might see in the Olympics. And that's it for Deck 6. Now we descend to Deck 5, the Royal Promenade. This is the heart of this city on the sea. And like the ship, this space is huge, extending from the Royal Theater in the front all the way to the main dining room in the back. And all the way around Deck 5, outside, is a running track. And just to give you an idea of the size of this ship, each lap is almost half a mile. Back inside, we start at the front and the upper level of the Royal Theater. One of the perks of sailing aboard an Oasis-class ship is the large theater that features Broadway-style shows. We watched the production of Hairspray on our cruise. On other Oasis-class ships, we have seen Grease and Mamma Mia. The theater also hosts headliner groups like the Las Vegas Tenors, comedians, specialty acts, and audience participation events like the Love and Marriage Show. After the shows, guests spill out onto the promenade to continue the fun at Bolero's, a Latin-flavored club and bar. On the other side of the promenade is the On Air Club with another bar, of course. You know what? To a non-drinker like me, it seems like there are a lot of bars. But for those guests with drink packages, I guess there can't be enough. And for those with a caffeine addiction, there's an official Starbucks right in the middle of the promenade. There's also an English pub. Yep, another bar, but this one looks cool, and it features a live musician. Across from the English pub is Sorrento's. It's the pizza restaurant. Free pizza until late at night. And, wait a minute, there's no bar in here. But there is plenty of pizza. Next door to Sorrento's is the Next Cruise office, where you could be enticed to book your next Royal Caribbean cruise with some pretty enticing offers. And even if you use a travel agent back home, the Next Cruise office can give you a good deal and then hand your booking off to your travel agent. Across the street again, you will find Cafe Promenade. Like the Park Cafe, Cafe Promenade offers a quick alternative to the buffet or the dining room. Then next door to the cafe is the dreaded customer service desk. Enough said. However, if you want to see something fun, cross the street again to watch robot bartenders mix drinks. It's not just another excuse to sell booze, It's fun to watch, and the bartender doesn't repeat your gossip. Did I mention the shops? There is a plethora of them along the promenade. Yes, I said plethora again. There are clothing stores, jewelry and cosmetic stores. There's a brand store, liquor store, and places that specialize in watches. Finally, at the rear of the ship, you enter the upper level to the main dining room. Considering how large this place is and how many people are served at each meal, the food is actually very good. Our waitstaff was also amazing. They were friendly, attentive, and efficient. And yes, they still serve lobster and prime rib. We are not done yet. Drop down to deck 4 because there is a lot more down there. First and foremost is the center ice rink. Not only can you strap on some skates and have a go at it, but there are awesome ice production shows in there that will bring you to your feet. And like the Aqua Theater, these are truly Olympic quality skaters. Just outside of the ice rink, moving forward, is the Diamond Club. There are 2 more nightclubs down here. The Attic on the port side, which is an odd name for a place at the bottom of the ship, and the Jazz Club on the starboard side. Both venues are very popular with guests. On the other side of the ice rink, aft, is Casino Royale, where one-armed bandits will gladly take your contributions. I'm not a gambler, so I can't give a worthwhile opinion about the casino. I do know that it's big, and sometimes it's smoky. Right below the casino on deck 3 is the ship's conference room, just in case you need to confer. Otherwise, you'll probably never see it. And that's all of the public areas aboard Symphony of the Seas, at least most of them. The medical clinic is on deck 2. We now turn our attention briefly to the cabins. We stayed in a balcony overlooking Central Park and thoroughly enjoyed it. Of course, there is a plethora, yes, I said plethora again, a plethora of cabin types, from large suites costing tens of thousands of dollars to humble interior cabins that most of us commoners can afford. Pricing for cabins is capacity driven, meaning the higher the demand, the higher the price of the cabin. And those prices change daily. This is where a good travel agent can really be valuable and their services won't cost you anything. Hint, hint, give me a call. So, let's wrap up our tour. While there are plenty, nay I say a plethora of bars on board, there are no laundry facilities like on a Carnival ship. Of course, the crew will do your laundry for a fee. The Wi-Fi was recently upgraded to Elon Musk's Starlink system, and it's pretty good, depending on your location. There is no cigar lounge or bridge viewing area, but there are 6 swimming pools, 10 hot tubs. Smoking is restricted to designated areas around the pools and is strictly enforced. Smoking on your balcony will get you thrown off your balcony. And that's it for the tour and part 1. Please stay with us for part 2 and the pros and cons of a transatlantic cruise.
And if you haven't subscribed, please take a moment and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you.
That's it. Keep on sailing.
Bye-bye.